Okay, so today we are going to be doing what will probably be a long one and slightly more complicated, but hopefully should equally be fun. So the classic rice bowl thing where they go down the hill in a different um, item like this. That's what we're going to try and recreate and see how that goes. So let's jump to it, shall we? Okay. First thing we're going to want to do is create ourselves an actor for this. Sorry, not an actor, a pawn. So right click, create yourself a new blueprint, which I will call RiceBowl _ BP. We can open up the RiceBowl BP and we're just going to sort of try and get this loosely working before we get on with it. But like I said, there'll probably be lots of steps to this. Now I'm just going to use a cube for now. It would be a lot better to use a mesh, but there's already enough going on in this. I just want it to be slightly bigger than my player, so that'll do, because we're going to have to play a jump on, sort of hold a position there, and we'll see how we get on, shall we? So I've got my rice bowl, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some controls to this. So our controls are, well, it's the basic default controls. We've not set up any extra ones, but you can see these in the project settings. I'm going to input, but we've got move forward and move right. We only really actually want move right. And off move right, this is where we're going to get our cube, make sure it's got simulate physics on, and drag our cube in, and we're going to add some force to it. Add some force. Come on, there we go. So the force that we're going to do is we're just going to do it on the axis value. So we're going to want a float times float. So this is going to be between 0 and 1, and then this will be our speed that we want it to be. So I don't know, let's say 2000. And we're also going to want to do this on this thing's get right vector, and let's times these two together. So oops, not vector, it's vector. We've got a float, and let's tick acceleration change, and for the sake of test we'll put it in our level, and we'll, on the details panel, let's auto possess it. Oops, cancel. What's it saying? No, that's a different thing. Okay, we've now got a camera. That's an obvious one. So let's quickly add ourselves a camera. Let's parent that camera to the cube by dragging it and dropping it. And let's get our camera and sort of put it in a better place. We should probably add like a spring arm to this between them, and that gives you better control, but I'm not going to worry about that for now. We're just trying to do a relatively simple version of this for the sake of testing. Alright, we can now see, and we can see if we press left or right, it moves left or right. Excellent. That's looking good. What we're going to want actually as well is we're going to want this to go downhill, because that's sort of what happens in the show. So I'm actually just going to duplicate you, drag, in fact it'll just delete you, it'll be easy just delete you, drag a new one in over here above the ground and turn it round. So then when we press play, why don't we auto possess it? Oh, because I deleted it, that's why. Auto possess. Cool. We can see it goes in, and we can go left or right. It doesn't actually slide though, and I'm going to move my camera just a touch higher. Cool, that'll do. So to make it slide, we want to add a physics material. So if we, with our cube selected, scroll down to collision, there's a little section called physics material. And I'm just going to create a new physics material, and I'll just do it in my blueprints, why not? Which we'll call slider underscore PM for physics material. Why not? Select physics material and select. Double click it to open it, and we can change these. So we can set our friction basically down to none. Oh, we could even go crazier than that. And restitution is your bounciness. Do we want it quite bouncy? Yes, I guess. I don't know. These are stuff that you can play with that you think is going to give you the best results. And let's have a look. Okay, you can see we start building up a bit of speed, and we're going. Let's actually make this slightly more interesting by going to your geometry settings and getting a cylinder. And let's just give this, I don't know, 16 sides. Let's rotate about, what, 50? That's about the same as what we've got there, isn't it? Scale it up. Ooh, let's actually rotate 60. Don't need to go that steep. Scale it up, make it nice and big. Make it quite long too. So this is just a test path. Again, it's one of those if I actually model that, you're going to get even better results. I'm just going to duplicate my brush with Ctrl W and move this one up a touch and change it from additive to subtractive. So all I'm doing is I'm making this a path. That's annoying. Let me just make it a bit longer because it's not cut through the end. There we go. So all I've done is I'm just making a quick path for testing purposes. And let's move you back up to the top. So we'll come in, we'll be able to go around, and this should be quite fun. Yeah, that'll actually be quite a lot of fun. Let me grab both brushes again and make them a touch longer. Oops, wrong axis. There we go. Just make it a little bit more fun. And what next? Let's increase the size to 24 as well, make it a bit smoother. See how that looks now? That's a bit better. Like I say, if you model these, you're going to have probably even more fun. Really starts to build up some speed as well, which is awesome. So now we need to control the actual possession of the thing. So in Unreal, well, in a lot of things, we've seen this term before, auto possess. I'm just going to disable that. So we possess our player by default, by the start. What we're going to want to do is actually just be able to switch. And we'll just do this on test of a button press right now. So let's go to our level blueprint. And what we want to do is we want to get reference to our player. So let's find some space. We've got some space here. And we also want to get reference to this fella over here. Can I click it from a distance? Come on. Nope, I'm going to have to zoom in a bit. Okay, now. There we go. So we've got reference to our RiceBowl. And for now, we'll just do this, like I said, we'll just test this on a button press. So let's just do keyboard. I don't think I'm using T. So when T is pressed, we will do a flip-flop. And we want to possess this guy. Possess. We might have to turn off context sensitivity. We do. And let's drag you into you like that. And duplicate you because we want two of you. And you like that. And we just need to get the player controller so we can turn context sensitivity back on and get player controller. Like that. And let's see if this works. So when we press, so we should start with this guy, we press T and we switch. And then we press T and we switch back. Awesome. So that's the base of the logic. Now we actually need to sort of set the game up just a little bit. So instead of having like this guy at the top of the hill, at the start of the hill, we'll probably have him about, I don't know. It's like I said, this would be so much better if we had like modelled it in any way. Let's just use a white cube so it's more obvious. And we'll just sort of like have a bit of a starting ledge. So then this guy won't initially drop. It'll only be when we jump on him, we'll just add some, do like an initial forward force or something like that. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do is, because we're going to need our player up here. I should have started building this in the correct place. Yeah, I will. What I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly just move all of this stuff over and my player over towards the edge of my map, and then just going to cut and move all that stuff there now. Okay, so all I've done is I've just dragged everything to the end of the map and got my player. Just brought my player over here for testing purposes, and we can see we can run up the hill. We'll be able to see our board, which will turn off physics by default. And yeah, and then we'll be able to slip and slide down the hill. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to open up our RiceBowl again. And we are going to add a box collider. And that box collision which I'm going to just scale up. This is going to detect for our main player. So if our main player stands on this thing, that's when I'm going to do all stuff. So don't forget I said I'm going to make this not simulate physics by default. Then I'm going to click on my box and scroll down to on begin overlap. Cast to our third person character. And let's say, what are we going to do? We want to, let's just do a print string just to show that this works. I'm going to say jumped on. And at which point, this is probably when we'd want to give it a little bit of force. Just a little bit. Sort of like, kind of like what we've done here. So let's just grab the add force. And how much force do we want to add? We want to get this thing's forward vector. Oh, don't forget we need to turn on physics as well, simulate physics. Let's just times this by a float. How much did we use before? I mean, that sort of felt like a good number, 2000. Don't forget, before we do this, we need to actually simulate physics. So I'm just going to grab you over here and set simulate physics. I did say there's quite a lot to this one. All right, let's see if that works. So it should, hopefully, so there's no physics on it at the moment until we jump on it. And it says jumped on. And that didn't seem to move anywhere. Let's just increase this number and see what happens if we put a 1 before it. Oh, it did move, but not very much. So I'm just going to put it a bit close to the edge, a bit more underground, and change this number. It's like, I don't know, a 6. So we jump on it and then, okay, we're getting closer. We're getting closer. Let's set that number back down to like a 2. So once we jump on it, we want to do the, basically we want to possess it, don't we? That's what we want to do. We want to possess it. So let's actually get a Can we get a possess from here? We can. So don't forget to, with your context sensitivity. So we want to possess this thing, and we want to get player controller, just like we did before. Will that work if do I have to put reference to self? I'm not sure if I've got to put reference to self. Let's find out. Be easier than going through the level blueprint. And we jump on, then we're possessed. So has crazy rotations and stuff. Okay, we get in there. But basically what's happening as soon as we possess it is our main guy's freezing. So we're just going to have to sort of tweak this and get it quite fine. Because what we still wanting to do is sort of freeze when we're on top of it and almost ride the thing. Might be easier to sort of just create like a static mesh of the guy. Shall we see? An animation would probably look nicer, but I'm not sure I want to get into animations right now. So let's just see if we can get the third person character. The blueprints, let's just open a third person character. And we can find our mesh. Let's find out where the mesh is actually saved. So we've got the skeletal mesh here. Mannequin skeleton. What we want is, like I say, like standard thing of him. Okay, fine. Let's just get our idle. So I've gone to the animations. Let's duplicate it, and we'll call it riding. Just go anim, and let's open it up. And what we're going to want to do is get him like hunched over, like crouched over. So I'm just going to add a keyframe here. And where's this skeleton? So we've got spine 2, spine 1. Ooh, we don't want to do that. And that's okay, and let's just put some arms out as well. Click the shoulder, is that the upper arm? Add U as a keyframe. And let's get that back arm as well. There we go, this will loosely be my animation, my riding animation. Really should have more crouched knees, but hey ho. So we've got that and we've saved that. So let's get our rice bowl and let's actually just drag and drop. Can we drag and drop him on? Okay, so we get it. Can we just add a skeletal mesh? And then let's get a third person character. Why can't we add a third person character to this skeletal mesh? Drag and drop you into there, like that. And are you attached to the cube? You are. So let's see what happens now. Cool, he's attached. Let's actually set him so he plays a specific animation. So it's using it'll just be easy to do in the graph. And we'll just do it on event begin play. An event begin play. Let's play animation. And that animation is going to be a new riding animation. But let's just actually have a quick look, make sure he's riding. Cool, it looks like he's riding. Is that really different? We have to rotate him a bit. 90, so let's get you and rotate you to face this way. Cool, compile, compile, compile. Set you to actually be invisible to start with. So rendering visible, go to event graph. And then after we possess him, let's set the skeletal mesh to be visible. Set visible, yes, we want you to be visible. And before we do that, we actually want to basically do the same thing again. Set visibility. I do it for box, doesn't really matter. We don't want the box, let's delete you. We want to do it for our third person character. So I'm just going to drag off our third person character reference. So that just drags off you, brings you into you. Wire that all up. And let's see if it works. Ooh, I missed. Right, let's try it again. Okay, it was good, and it's looking alright, but our guy didn't disappear. So it's just, right, our third person character, set visibility, and we'll just do it for mesh, maybe it's because it got the wrong thing. And let's drag you over here. I'm just going to wire you into here, we don't need you. Same thing. And let's try that again. So it's going to be a little bit dodgy, but it saves us having to sort of create loads of animations sort of blending between. Which probably should have made the animation more dramatic, but hey ho. Cool, that works. And what we'll want to do then is let's just put a floor down at the bottom. Man, this has been one crazy tutorial. I'm just going to make it a bit longer, give it some runway. And we want a trigger box. You know what, instead of making it invisible, I should have just removed it. So on trigger box, okay, we're going to set reference to a cube by going to our level blueprint. And on this trigger box, let's just do a collision on begin, overlap. We also might want to break that. I should probably just delete it. In fact, we'll keep it for a second. On begin overlap with, what do we call it? RiceBowl. On begin overlap with RiceBowl. Let's just print a string so we know it works. And we'll call it end. And let's actually repurpose some of this stuff. So we've got our rice bowl, even though I've got reference to it there as well. And we'll say unpossess. Well, actually, we don't need to unpossess it. What we just need to do is we need to spawn a new third-person character in. So let's spawn actor. Does it spawn pawn? Can we spawn pawn? Okay, we've got spawn actor from class, spawn emitter, spawn AI. Okay, we'll just spawn actor from class, which will be our third person character. And what we'll do is we'll just use the location of the trigger box for now. In fact, ideally, we'd probably want it to like on the point of colliding, where it actually collides. But you know what? Actually, no. Let's do it with where the rice bowl is. So from our rice bowl, let's get world transform. Put you into you. And then we want to possess this guy. So let's basically just take you, detach you, detach you there, put you in here, you in there, and hopefully, so unbegin likes and spawn third person character. I think that should be okay. On my rice bowl though, instead of actually hiding the this character, I might actually just delete him. Delete? I always forget the word. Kill? Destroy. Obviously, it's destroy. Destroy actor. Cool. So, I'm not going to use you for a second. Let's just make sure destroy actor works, and hopefully, more or less, that should be done. Okay, so we walk up to it, get on. And then we can sort of control it, and as we get towards the bottom, pew, okay, it ended, but why didn't it spawn? So we printed. Right, so that worked. And it should have spawned the third person character. But it didn't. Okay, new plan, really quick. We'll just sort of teleport him instead. That'll be easier, right? Seeing as third person character already exists, instead of spawning him in, we will just basically teleport him. And we don't have reference to our player anymore, so let's quickly fly back up, get a reference to our player, and we will hide him, so we'll set him to invisible, and then we'll set him to visible again, teleport him across. Job should be a good one. Create third person character, set world transform. For which, where's the root? Not for the arrow. Capture component. There we go. Okay. Hopefully this will work. Move you into you. Move you into you. Don't forget to actually make him visible. Remember, because we made the mesh visible. Set visibility. I think we did it just on the mesh. Go back to you. Go back to our rice bowl. don't destroy actor. We're just going to go back to invisibility. It'd be nicer to actually use the blend cam, so do you know how when it switches cameras. Come on, please work. What? Did it even create the actor? Where's the third person character? I don't understand. So when we switch, right, let's press F8. Oops. Oh, that broke. Alright, so let's press it. Yeah, it's deleting the actor. Why are you deleting the actor? You're not wired up anymore, so you shouldn't be happening. Right, so let's double check what's happening. So we overlap, we're setting physics to the cube, we're adding some forward, which might add is probably just a touch much, and then we're possessing it, and then we're setting the visibility. Now we're setting the visibility on that, and in the map, that only works on end, right? Oh, possess, that would also help if we had U connected. Set visibility, yes. Set world transform. Yes. Let's just sort you out as well. I think we actually need more forward. Because I think it's just the gliding with itself. Pew. Okay. So jump on, we get to the bottom. Ooh, the camera changed, it's tried to do something. F8, switch. But why is it not? This is so frustrating. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to test some things and let's see what actually works. Okay, so I finally figured it out, and that took me way longer than I thought it was going to. And it's because our player was actually being killed. So if we go to our world settings, you'll scroll down and you'll see that there is a kill zone in the world kill Z, which is set to -1000. And guess what? Our platform was at -3000. So when we were trying to spawn him in, he was getting instantly killed. So I've had to set this to -6000, and it now works. And I'll just show you the results. So we jump on again. Might want to make the animation more expressive, but we get to the bottom, and then we land, and then we can continue, and that's it. And that is literally it. Isn't that super annoying? So I'll just show you the code real quick. So in our RiceBowl, so that's just the controls for when we're actually in controls, and then when we end, when we jump on, we come towards it, we say, oh, we jump on the third person character. Yes, we'll put on a string. I added a do once in there, but we don't actually need it. It was just for testing. different things, because I thought it was a case of, am I actually colliding when I'm spawning back in? We're setting simulate physics on the cube, and then we're giving it an initial sort of push, which actually might want to be a touch higher, messing about with it. After we've done that, we possess it so we can control it. This allows us to control it. And we set the mesh from our original player to invisible. We then set the mesh on here that's playing the animation to visible. Then when we hit the bottom, so in our level blueprint, when we overlap with the trigger box and the bowl, the rice bowl, we end. At which point we set the visibility of our player back on. We set the visibility of our rice bowl character off. Probably should be the other way around, but hey ho. We possess the player that we want to, and we tell it where we want that player to reappear. With this, I did right click and split it because I just wanted to give it an extra bit of height, because I was testing out, was it a height thing? And it was, so I just added an extra bit of Z. And that's it really. Maybe it'd probably look a bit better if we gave it a bounce as well. Like if we told it, to fire its custom event of bounce. But really, what a pain. Right, what a pain. Third person character, bounce. Where's our third person character? Right, there you are. Man, can you believe it after all that? But there you go, that's how we would sort of possess something. The same sort of system would loosely work for, like, if you're making like a Grand Theft Auto game, so we can slip and slide down here. Then when we get to the bottom, we didn't collide with the box, or did we? Who knows? Why did it not work now? You know what? Let's just turn bounce off. I don't even know what broke it. It worked, but I'm already fed up with this tutorial. So we get to the bottom. What? Why is it not working now? It was working literally a minute ago. What have I done? What have I broken? Right, so it ends. We see it end. We set the visibility of this guy to be true. We set the invisibility of this guy to be true. We possess. And now it set transform. Why are you literally not working right now? Oh, maybe I did need that do once that I deleted earlier. Let's just put that do once back in, because I think it was actually colliding with it. Please work. I just want to go, like, have a cup of tea. I think it is overlapping, and I think that's actually what's happening. So I think we do need to do once. Yeah, we needed to do once. Cool. Okay. To improve this, which you probably would want to if you're making this more fully fledged, what you would do is you'd get the rotation of your player. So when you actually make your, before you make your skeletal mesh visible, and you possess it, before you do all that, you would actually set the rotation this so it matches the player, which would be quite nice. Like I say, you'd probably also want to make a better animation of him, like jumping, like doing like a crouch, so like almost like he's landing and crouching into position, and probably blend the cameras. But ultimately, yeah, this has been a long one. Good luck. Well done if you made it this far.